Put that pressure on him. Nice. Stop the bang.
Up top. Nobody move but me. Go on a roll. Better than bacon, man.
I don't like it for better.
This better than bacon. That's a bad 3.
I don't like 5-0.
I blow a bag today. I don't do nothing for gas. I blow the bag today. I know I came from property. I got my name from property. I know for sure. My granddad was living, I know I'd be proud of me. I know for sure. Super was living, I know.
In 2015, Lawrence Bryan IV was murdered due to senseless violence in Savannah. Bryan was a son, father, business owner, and loved by many. He leaves behind his son, Lawrence Bryan V, who has a vague memory on the impact his father had, but a fond memory on what crime has done.
My name is Lawrence Bryan. My son was murdered due to senseless violence in Savannah. I remember Lawrence because of his big smile. Lawrence always had a big smile everywhere he went. Lawrence had a big heart. Lawrence was a giving child and a very intelligent child. He wasn't perfect, but he didn't deserve what happened to him.
Robert Santoro. I work with the Savannah Chatham Metropolitan Police Department Homicide Unit. Families oftentimes have like a lot of power when it comes to homicide investigations. They have a lot of influence over people. They can convince people to come forward and to talk to the police, and sometimes we don't have that power as police officers. It's like we can do our best to convince people, but really the family has a lot of power in that way, and a lot of times I don't think they realize that. I believe that what we do here matters, and I believe that the job we do is important, and I believe that we're all here together, in this world, on this planet, in these communities together, and it's up to us to decide how we want that world to be. We got multiple shooting victims at the hospital. I gotta run.
My emotional attachment to Lawrence stems from our 10 plus years of friendship. I met Lawrence when I was about 13 or 14 years old at the skating ring, to be exact. My strongest emotional attachment to Lawrence is the way that he uplifted me as a woman. He always motivated me and encouraged me to finish school, to set out and seek goals. He just was always a loving person to me. Lawrence Bryan is love. Lawrence loved people unconditionally. Lawrence just was this person who gave off this positive amount of energy. He always wanted everyone around him to be happy. A lot of people gravitated to Lawrence just because of his, just his warming spirit. If Lawrence gave you the shirt off his back, he would. That's just how much he was a loving, heartwarming individual.
So, son, let's talk about crime in Savannah, Georgia. I am Reverend Carl Gilliard, and I'm the pastor of the Family Life Center. I am the CEO of Feed the Hungry. In 1984, I was at Morris Brown, and having a college degree was the focus of my whole life, to go and to get my education. And while I was at Morris Brown, 2 of my friends were murdered in Savannah. Savannah had one of the highest murder rates in the nation per capita. And when I came to try to find out what was going on about preventing the next murder, no one had the answer, or they had the ability to want to do anything. See, the church has to be a part of the solutions to the problem. We're in these walls, and on a Sunday, we have an opportunity to educate our congregation about violence prevention, about cutting the recidivism rate, about reentry, because we have those that are sitting in our congregation that might have been locked up at one time, or those that might even potentially have children that would be on the other side of the gun, and those that have lost loved ones. So one of the things that Family Life Center decided to do was to be a part of the solution. There are over 2,000 churches in Savannah, Georgia alone. And much like the Civil Rights Movement, the church is the first point of contact that can make a difference in that community.
Who is the Lawrence Bryan family to you?
The Lawrence Bryan family is a family that's just like a lot of Americans right now that are losing children, that are losing families, you know, where you have a gun doesn't die, but people do. And when you have a child that's been lost to violence, it's not a good feeling. So that's our family. That's everyone's child.
Well, basically, I think that the younger generation, the at-risk younger generation, because it's not all of them. It's the ones that have been failed. Basically, it starts off at home. So I think they've been failed at home. They've been failed by the school system. They've been failed by the church, and they have lost the love for one another. My birthday was yesterday, and I was born in '59, so I'll let you do the math on that. But I remember when black folk were oppressed, and it took a village to get through that storm. And they were always crime, but the crime now is out of the roof, because instead of getting love from home and the church and school, they get love from the streets. And we all know when you start to get love from the streets, it's not all good. So they don't have love for one another. They don't respect life like people used to. If I could say something to the individual that actually took my son from my family, I would tell him, I would explain to him, I should say, how much pain that you put my family through, the pain that I saw on my family's face, the pain that I saw on Linda's face, my father's face, my sister's face. I've never seen that pain before. The last time I saw that pain is when my mother died, and this pain that I saw was 10 times worse. And I would also tell an individual that I know you're supposed to forgive. Well, I've got to pray for that because I haven't reached that point yet. I would hope and pray that God have mercy on his soul, and that he took a 4th generation from this family. Lawrence was the 4th, and we were blessed with the 5th, Lawrence's son, but it's a missing link, and that he has absolutely turned our family upside down, in which I don't think he understood what he was doing. He knew what he was doing, but he didn't know the fallout of what he was doing.
Here's the problem that needs to be stated. Guns and crime, no need to debate it. It's left in effect on our community. There's no peace, there's no love, there's no unity. Kids on the streets are being killed like the city's death wish being fulfilled. If we don't stick together, we get stuck together. So let's fight for what's right or self-destruct together. We got to stop the violence, put the guns down, and we got to be able to, here again, turn to each other and increase the peace.
Man, crime in Savannah is crazy. It's all at an all-time high. People dying every day. We need to come together, man, stick together, let's stop all this violence, man.
Crime in Savannah is at its all-time high. We all need to come together and stick together. Stop killing each other.
I'm Lawrence Bryan III, Savannah. Please stop these killings.
In memory of Lawrence Bryan IV, his parents have started the LB4 Foundation, which deters violence and crime, but promotes awareness and positivity for role models and at-risk individuals.
Our lifestyles be closed caption, addicted to fatal attractions. Pictures of actions be played back in the midst of mansions. No fairy tales for this young black male. Some see me stranded in this land of hell, jail, and crack sales.